Hope and Shadows, Chapter 11, Reunions, by Stephen Little. My Little Pony and all associated characters are copyrighted by Hasbro. While Reginald marched off to his inevitable fate, back in the dining room, three mares were conspiring. "Do you really think it will be as simple as that?" Sweetie Belle asked. "I know it will," Twilight said. "If we let Dusk know that you are performing at the wine club tonight, and let slip that Tootsie Flute enjoys your music quite a bit, then he might just ask her out. However, if he seems hesitant, you say you were going to invite her anyway. Then we get our friends together and make sure those two end up at the same table. Then we let your songs do the rest. Start with your thank you to Barry, move on to that song you want to do for Scoot, and then, once the kids have been primed, go to the kill with that last song." "Wow, you two sure have put a lot of thought into this," Sweetie Belle said with a smile. "We had to," Twilight said. "Dusk has been on the lookout for Luna's meddling, so we had to plan extra carefully. Our boy may be a little forgetful at times, but he's not dumb. That being said, he won't expect a sneak attack from Twilight," Luna said with a small giggle. "Now, Sweetie Belle, do you have some pony to sing the male vocals for that last song? You usually have a guest performer sing it, don't you?" Luna asked. "Yes, or if we can't get anyone on short notice, we have Blue Notes sing it. He's got a very powerful voice, but I can get him to tone it down a bit." "Hello, Mom, Mother, Belle," Dusk greeted them as he came in the door. "Hello, dear. How is your sister and Dinky today?" Luna asked. "They're fine. Dinky's been taking it slow. She's still getting used to the new leg, and Dawn is a wreck. She fusses over Dinky so. Every time Dinky trips or stumbles, Dawn kind of freaks out. Aunt Celestia is there now I came home." "I should go see them too," Twilight said. "Only if you want to bring down Julian's wrath. He's one stallion in the house with 3 mares and his pregnant wife. I don't think more mares are going to help. Besides, I think Aunt Celestia can handle it. Oh, she's told me you were performing tonight at the wine club. Is that true, Belle?" "Yes, Barry Punch is opening the club to all ages. Garnet has a few of his deputies patrolling to make sure there's no underage drinking. But, yeah, you're more than welcome to attend. Oh, gee, look at the time. Princesses, thank you for helping me with the planning for the reception. I should really get going. I wanted to invite Tootsie Flute before I went home for my fitting for the wedding. I heard she's a pretty big fan." "I can extend your invitation for you if you like, Belle. I wouldn't want your mother to become cross with you," Dusk offered. "Are you sure? I'd hate to be a bother," Sweetie Belle said, pouting slightly. "It's not a problem at all. I'll go right now and let her know. It's at 8:30, right? You got it. See you there," she shouted as Dusk galloped out the door. "That was brilliant, Belle. How did you come up with that so fast and so believably?" Twilight asked. "Well, some of it is true. I really do need to get going for my fitting. As for the rest of it, I suppose I've hung around you two way too much," she said as they all fell into a fit of giggles. Spike, Bottle, and Reginald crossed the bridge on the southwest end of Ponyville, steadily approaching the Carousel Boutique. "So, I take it this is where she works?" Reginald asked. "Yes, we live in the apartment above the shop. I know it's not what you're used to, but it meets our needs. Are you ready?" "Spike, my boy, I don't think I could possibly be prepared for what lies on the other side of that door." "Well, let me feel out the situation, and then I'll announce you. Ah, here comes Sweetie Belle. She must have finished chatting with the princesses." "You three haven't been waiting out here the entire time, have you?" "No, just showing our guests around town a bit on our way home," Spike said, chewing on a piece of quartz he picked up from Barry Punch when he passed her wine bar. "Daddy, you're stalling. Just go in and tell Mom that we have guests. I'll bring them in with me." Spike cautiously poked his reptilian head inside the shop. "Rarity, are you here?" he asked quietly, not wanting to wake her if she was napping. With a loud shout, Rarity tackled Spike so hard he fell backwards out the door and slid down the outside stairs with Rarity standing on top of him. "Spike, Swift Talon, where in Equestria have you been? You've had me worried half out of my wits. Garnet and Sweetie Belle still needed to be fitted for the wedding Thursday. Did you hear me? Thursday! That's in 2 days. Jato, Honey, and Scootaloo have already been here and gone. Rarity looked up at Sweetie Belle and the other 2 ponies with her. Sweetie Belle, please go inside. As long as you're here, we can get your fitting done before the concert. And who are you 2 miscreants? My husband's drinking buddies? You must be, because I can smell the quartz on his breath. Be off with you. This dragon isn't going out for a while, so go find some bottle to crawl into. Reginald let out a loud laugh. Well, daughter, I don't recall you being this slurry. The last time I saw you pregnant, but then I suppose all this rustic living has rubbed off on you and put a few edges on your refined sensibilities. Father, what are you doing here? Where's Mother? I thought neither of you wanted to ever see me again. Rarity sputtered. Your mother is most likely occupying a dungeon cell at the palace. It's a long story, and I owe your children and your husband for revealing to me your mother's treachery. I am here to make up for those lost and precious time with you. I am here to attend my grandchildren's wedding, and, if you'll let me, I would like to be here for the birth of my newest grandchild. While Reginald was explaining the events of the last 30 years, Garnet approached the edge of the ever-free forest. The entrance to the forest looked gloomy and foreboding, as it was always had, but as soon as Garnet stepped a single hoof into the forest, it seemed to get brighter. He continued to walk, finding that the dirt path that used to lead through the forest was paved with cobblestones. The edges of the path were neat and trimmed, giving a good 20-hoof clearance from the forest on both sides. As he travelled the path, every now and then he would see a lamp-post that looked like a small twisted leafless tree that had grown holding a glowing yellow crystal. Seeing as the paved road ran the same route Garnet was travelling, he followed the path through the forest. The road did not twist and turn as he was told, but rather moved in a series of straight lines. For a while Garnet was afraid he was going the wrong way when he came to a stone bridge crossing a wide gorge. Studying the structure, Garnet was soon satisfied that it was the exact same bridge Mac and Dinky had described. Crossing and continuing on the path, the purple unicorn was rewarded by the awe-inspiring sight of the restored castle of the Pony Sisters. It was everything his 2 friends had described. As he approached the immense front doors, he noticed that the building itself seemed to glow with a luminescent energy. Before he could knock on the door, it opened on its own. "Please come in," a voice called out, deep and emotionless. Garnet hesitantly walked through the doors and called out through the darkness. "I'm here to speak with Discord. Is the master of this castle home?" "I am at home," Discord said, appearing behind the unicorn. "Are you here to arrest me? Has Celestia sent you to lock me up?" "Sir, I admit that I do not know what issues there are between you and the princess, but rest assured I am here for my own reasons." Discord sat down in front of him with questioning eyes. "Then why have you come?" "I came to thank you for helping out my friends. You could have easily refused Dinky's request, but you didn't, and for that I am grateful." "How are they holding up?" he asked, a little concerned. "Dawn is fine. The leg seems to work as well as her old one, though she absolutely refuses to bleach the fur to match the rest of her," he said, chuckling. "Dinky, on the other hand, is still getting used to her mechanical leg, but it seems to be working well." "Good. I'm glad that I could be of some assistance, even if only to show up Celestia." "Sir, may I ask a question?" "Only if you stop calling me sir. Discord or Kirin, one or the other." "Kirin, then. I'm getting married in 2 days along with some of my dear friends. I would be honored if you would attend," Garnet offered. "Why?" Discord inquired, not quite certain what the unicorn's angle was. "Because I asked. Does there have to be a reason?" Garnet said. "Like it or not, you are part of this community, and while you may prefer your solitude here, more ponies will eventually seek you out and try to include you in the day-to-day events of our town. They can't really help it, it's just the way they are. Also, if you wanted to be by yourself, why make a paved and well-groomed path straight to the castle?" "I think I see what you mean. I'm unused to social gatherings. Normally when ponies see me they run in fear, or I'm there to have some fun at their expense. This existence is boring. I crave excitement. Is a little fun too much to ask?" Well, if you want to have some fun, you should try hanging out with Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash. Those two are notorious pranksters. I'm just happy it hasn't rubbed off on their kids." "You don't say," Discord asked with a smirk. "I'm sure this is some sort of self-punishment. I have a hard time dealing with their pranks as it is. Adding you to the mix is most likely going to cause me no end of trouble." "Then why even suggest it?" he asked. "Because when you see a friend having problems, you do what you can to help, even if it causes you a little trouble down the road." "I wouldn't say we're friends, Garnet. You barely know me. I'm practically a stranger." "Well, Father always told me a stranger is just some pony you haven't made friends with yet," Garnet said, smiling. "Your father has an interesting way with words. I've been meaning to speak with your parents concerning your mother's pregnancy, but I might look bad to simply show up at your home without notice." "Well, Sweetie Belle is holding a small concert at the wine club in about an hour. All of our friends and their families will be there, including my parents. You could speak with them after the concert and arrange for a time to meet." "Why after the concert?" he asked. "If you're going to go at all, you should at least stay and listen to Belle. She has an amazing voice and unique style to her music that can be both sweet and loving one moment, then loud and exhilarating the next. You should come. I think you'd enjoy it. Not all fun has to be derived from randomness and chaos." "I could use a little fun, and since I promised I wouldn't cause problems, I might as well try it before I condemn it." Discord snapped his fingers, and a collar with a red bow tie appeared around his neck. "Well, my friend, shall we go?" The wine club was hopping with activity as every pony rushed to their seats. The club itself was not exceptionally large, but was suitable for berry punch's needs. In the front was a stage where numerous acts would play for certain customers. To the left, along the wall, was an extensive wine bar stocked with every type of wine a pony could imagine, most of which were made by Barry and her family. The rest of the rectangular floor was divided into a dance floor and patron seating, but for this event the entire area was packed. Tootsie arrived a bit late and found most of the seats taken. "Why didn't I just ask Dusk to pick me up?" she chastised herself. She had a choice between sitting with Dusk, Applebloom, or Princess Celestia way in the back, next to Twilight and Luna. Tootsie rushed over to Dusk's table. "Would you mind if I joined you? There aren't many choices left." "Sure, have a seat. I love my family, but Aunt Celestia can be intimidating," said, and I think she picked the worst possible seat, next to my parents and all the way in the back, Dusk said, smiling. "Something tells me she probably wants to remain as anonymous as possible. I think she gets tired of all the attention sometimes," Tootsie Flute said. "It's sad, really. She has no pony to talk to in that big palace." "What are you talking about? She holds court every day. Dozens of ponies come to talk to her," Dusk said. "Yes, but that's work. That doesn't count. They're there to talk business. But when does she get to talk to some pony about nothing important at all? I don't even want to guess the last time she just hung out with some pony," Tootsie said with a sigh. "It's just so sad." "Hey now, you're starting to sound like my parents," Dusk warned. "You really want to go down that path?" "No way. I'll leave that to your mothers. They seem to enjoy it, though." "I'm just glad they haven't started in on me. One of these days I swear they're going to start trying to hook me up with another pony," Dusk said. "Have your mothers been nagging you again?" "You know what? It's really odd, but ever since Dinky got out of the hospital, my parents haven't said more than 2 words about it. It's kind of creepy. Like they found a pony and are just waiting to spring him or probably her on me. Actually, I saw your mothers leaving my place early this morning. You don't think they wouldn't—" Dusk looked back to his parents and saw Luna waving back to him with a big smile. "Yeah, I think they did," he said with a scowl. "I wish they'd stay out of my non-existent private life." "It can't be that bad. You don't know for sure if that's why they were there. Our mothers have been friends for a very long time, longer than either of us have been alive. Can you just sit here with me and enjoy tonight? You can be mad at them tomorrow." Dusk looked at Tootsie Flute and lost himself in her violet eyes. He smiled slightly as his features softened and the scowl left his face. "Sure, I'll be mad at them tomorrow." Garnet poked his head into the main room of the club, looking around at the ponies inside. he noticed the various ponies sitting around the stage and the bar. Applejack and her family, along with Big Macintosh, Fluttershy, and Chaser, sat to the left. Scootaloo occupied a stool at the wine bar. Dusk, Dawn, Dinky, and Applebloom occupied the front, close to the stage. Pinky's family and the Dashes had taken up the middle. Honey and Jato had a small table to themselves. Along the right wall sat Garnet's own family, with Reginald and Bottle also in attendance. In the back sat the rest of the royal family. Twilight Sparkle and Luna sat together with Celestia, sitting at her own table just left of them. Garnet pulled his head back into the lobby. "Okay, good news, bad news. Which do you want first?"
"I'll take the good news first,"
Discord said. "Well, I lied. There's no good news, Karen. There's only one seat available for you, and it's next to Princess Celestia, Twilight, and Luna." Garnet watched Discord start to sweat. "Hey, are you all right? It's okay. Celestia won't yell at you or anything, not with all those ponies around, and certainly not with her sister and Twilight right there. She'll be the picture of politeness."
"I don't know what I'm so apprehensive right now. I'm Discord, Lord of Chaos and Disharmony. I can flip the world upside down if I choose. So why is the thought of sitting next to Celestia right now making me feel so nervous?"
"I have no idea. I could hasten a guess, but it would be presumptuous at best, arrogant at worst," Garnet offered.
"Please do tell. Presumptuous and arrogant I can handle,"
Discord said. "Well, from what I've gathered talking to my parents and Twilight, you and Princess Celestia had some kind of a relationship at some point. When you emerged from the statue the first time, did you not say that you missed her?"
"Yes, I did say that. I must congratulate you on your deductive skills. That event happened several years before you were born,"
Discord sighed.
"Yes, we had a relationship, though I know she'll never admit it today."
"Could it be that you still have feelings for her? I don't pretend to know what happened between you two, but even after 1,000 or so years, feelings just don't go away."
"I have always cared for her, and probably always will, but after what happened, I don't know if there's any going back."
"If you want, you can go. You don't have to go in there," Garnet said.
"No, you were right. Sooner or later I'm going to be dragged kicking and screaming into this community. All the ponies know me as Kieran, so maybe this can be a new start."
Garnet smiled as he and Kieran entered the main hall. There were a few muffled gasps, but every pony kept their seat. Garnet walked up the stage and grabbed the microphone. "Good evening, every pony. Sheriff Garnet here. Now I know not all of you had met Kieran, but he really is nicer than he looks. He is my friend and is here as my personal guest," he said, looking to each of the bearers of the Elements of Harmony. "I would expect that you treat him as you would me. Now I have something to take care of real quick, then I'll be back to talk with you all again before we get the show started." Discord, or Kieran, as many of the ponies knew him, walked toward the back of the room. As he walked past, many ponies would say hello or welcome him to town. Kieran had never met such welcoming faces in his life. Each of them were smiling and talking to him in a genuine fashion. These ponies wore no masks to cover their feelings. Bolstered by the friendly faces he passed, Kieran walked right up to Celestia's table.
"Good evening, Princess Celestia,"
he said as sweetly as he could. "It was what sort of mischief are you up to, Discord?" she asked coldly.
"You wound me, Princess. I'm here for the same reason the rest of you are. I was invited to attend this concert, and having nothing else to do, I accepted. Princess Twilight over there told me to stay on my best behavior, and I'm endeavoring to keep that promise. Seeing as the seat next to you is the only one available, I have come to ask if you would mind if I joined you. No tricks, no sarcastic remarks, just a place to sit."
Luna leaned over and whispered in her sister's ear, "Come on, Tia, give the guy a break. He's done no harm since he arrived. He has followed every provision and request we've made with him. It's time to show a little trust." "That's usually when things start to go wrong," she whispered back. Celestia looked back at him. He was fidgeting slightly, and she could detect a tiniest bit of sweat on his brow. "Fine, Kieran, you may sit here, but no tricks. Tonight is for them, and I don't want anything to go wrong."
"You have my word, Princess. That's always been good enough for you. I hope it still is,"
Kieran said. Celestia simply grunted softly in response. "You look nice tonight."
"Thank you, and you look as ravishing as always."
Garnet once again approached the stage and took the microphone. "Okay, every pony, settle down. Now, while this establishment is a bar and not normally open for those ponies under 18, tonight everyone is legal to be here. At the request of Barry Punch, my new deputies will be patrolling around the room to make sure there's no underage drinking. So, as long as we all can follow the rules, we all can have a good time. Big Sis, I think it's your turn now," he said, handing the microphone up to his older sister. "Thank you, baby bro. How's every pony doing tonight?" The crowd erupted with cheering. "All right, now while I'm retired from performing, I still do the occasional set here and there, so without further ado, Barry, this one's for you, for letting us use your bar. Parents, you might want to cover the ears of your little ones for this." Sweetie Belle gave the signal to her band, many whom originated from Ponyville. Blue Notes started strumming his guitar and the drums, and Sweetie Belle dropped in on cue. Sweetie Belle strutted across the stage as she pushed her voice to higher volumes. Shaking her mane and tail, Belle worked the stage and the crowd like the seasoned professional she was. The whole time she was levitating a glass of wine without spilling a drop. Barry had jumped on the bar and was dancing around and rocking out along with Sweetie Belle. Everyone in the front and middle sections shouted, "Raise your glass!" with the song every time it came up. Rarity and Spike were resent in smiles. They were so proud of their little filly. Even Reginald and Buttle were tapping their hoofs in the time with the music. The music came to a crescendo and ended with the crowd's applause ringing in Sweetie Belle's ears. She downed the glass of wine in one swallow and tossed the glass towards the bar, where Barry caught it deftly in her mouth without breaking it. Sweetie Belle whipped some sweat from her brow. "Wow, haven't done that number in a while. I forgot how energetic it could be." There was a whistle and a cat call coming from the bar. "And you did that number great, babe!" Scootaloo shouted. Still panting a little, she took a drink of water from a stool next to her. "Okay, time to slow things down a bit. This next song is for some pony very close to me, some pony without whom I would not be the pony I am today. Scoots, I love you." Sweetie Belle began to sing. First, then the guitar, piano, and drums came in softly behind her. The music was light and soft, the complete opposite of what was played moments ago. Every eye in the bar was fixated at 2 points, Scootaloo at the bar and Sweetie Belle sitting at the edge of the stage, her back legs dangling in the air. As she sang, she seemed to be reaching out with her voice and speaking to the heart of every pony in the room, but none so much as Celestia and Kirin. In the back of the room, a waitress was moving from table to table, taking orders when she finally reached the table where one of the rulers of Equestria said, "Your Majesty, is there anything I can get for you?" "Yes, a glass of dandelion wine would be delightful," Celestia said. "And you?"
"No, thank you. Alcohol does not agree with me. Some water would be fine."
The waitress moved on, and Kirin found Celestia looking at him.
"What? Do you think I forgot what happened the last time I drank?"
"No, I was quite certain you had remembered. I'm just—" She couldn't finish her thought. Luna saw what was going on and nudged Twilight. "Look what's going on next door," she whispered softly, so only Twilight could hear. Discord had positioned a single talon over Celestia's lips to quiet her. Placing that claw over her left front hoof, he squeezed it gently.
"You were right. Tonight is for them, not for us. Whatever you have to say to me, whatever accusations and arguments we have for each other can wait. I'm not going anywhere, and we have a lot of time to holler and shout at each other, but let them have tonight without both of us ruining it."
As the song began to wind down, Sweetie Belle had left the stage and was slowly walking towards Scootaloo. She continued to approach her lover until she held the last note of the song right in front of the orange Pegasus. "I love you," she said, kissing her ardently. The whole club erupted in cheers and whistles. Releasing Scootaloo from her kiss, she reached over and downed the Pegasus drink. "If you wanted my drink, you should have said so," Scoot said, smiling at her. "Yes, but then I wouldn't have needed to sing for you, and you know how much I love singing for you." Scootaloo lightly kissed the tip of Belle's horn. "Go on, you have another set to do." Sweetie Belle returned to the stage with the faces of every unicorn in the room blushing widely. Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle knew that kissing a unicorn's horn was a very intimate act, but they didn't care. They'd been hiding their relationship from the public long enough, and they didn't care who knew how much they loved each other. The night wore on, and song after song filled the club as Sweetie Belle played some of her best-loved music for her friends, family, and the ponies of Ponyville. It was time for the last song of the night. "All right, every pony, I don't want tonight to end any more than you do, but we have time for one more song. Lyra, where are you, mare?" Lyra stood up from her table, trotted up to the stage, and climbed the steps from the side. There was a quiet conversation between her, Belle, and Blue Notes, but it ended quickly when Blue gave his guitar to Lyra. "Be careful with her. She's been in my family for a long time." "Don't worry, Blue. I'll treat it as if it were my own," Lyra said. Blue and Sweetie Belle stood at the end of the stage, looking out over all the ponies gathered, but two sets caught her eye immediately. "This song is dedicated to 4 ponies, sort of, and we hope you'll all enjoy it as much as me and Blue love singing it." Softly Lyra began to strum the guitar, playing a soft melody, when Sweetie Belle began to sing equally as soft. At first she locked her eyes with Princess Celestia, as if she was trying to awaken something in the ruler that had been long buried. There was a short pause in the singing. In the background the guitar continued to play, and the drums continued to lightly keep the beat. Sweetie Belle and Blues walked off the stage and sauntered up to Tootsie and Dusk. Belle sat behind Dusk, while Blue Notes sat next to Tootsie Flute, forcing them to stare at each other. Blue began singing at first. His voice was soft and resonant. Sweetie Belle dropped in on Queer, her own melodic voice adding to the duet being sung between the two ponies. Even though both Tootsie Flute and Dusk knew they were not alone, neither could bear to take their gaze off each other. The whole room and the ponies in it seemed to disappear, leaving them alone with the song being sung for them. Dusk watched as Tootsie's eyes began to shimmer and dance with unshed tears, never once taking her eyes away from his. A sudden large tear fell from her eye, tapping a path down her left cheek. Dusk reached up, taking her left cheek in his hoof. His horn dimly lit up as he spoke to Tootsie in her mind. "Please don't cry. It kills me to see your eyes filled with tears." "Dusk, I know our parents set this up, but I wanted you to know this isn't all they're doing. I've wanted this one perfect moment with you for a long time. I've wanted to say I care for you, more than any other pony in my life. I've had a crush on you ever since you came back from medical school. Garnet knew, and many a time he tried to get me to talk to you, but I was just a little kid back then. I was afraid you wouldn't like me. I was afraid if I said anything you'd reject me. I was content to be your friend by now, but now I don't think I could live with that. Tootsie, I need you in my life. I want to be more than your friend. Can I be your cold friend?" As the song ended with the last few strums of the guitar, Tootsie Flute practically leaped across the table and embraced Dusk, planting a deep, passionate kiss on his lips. The crowd gave a standing ovation, whether it was for Belle and Blue Notes, or if it was for Tootsie Flute and Prince Dusk. No pony was quite certain. In the back of the club, Luna and Twilight congratulated each other on a job well done. The club was emptying quickly as ponies filtered out to their respective homes. Some stopped to talk to Belle or other members of the band. As the last of the ponies exited, Kieran stood up and bent into an exaggerated stretch.
"Thank you for a wonderful night. Garnet was right. That was fun. Twilight, Luna, a pleasure as always."
Kieran took Celestia's left hoof in his claws and kissed it lightly.
"Goodbye, Celeste, my princess."
His voice was flat and impassive. Kieran turned and walked out of the club. Celestia looked to her sister for a moment and then to the door. Discord had never called her by that name. Only some pony she thought she had lost many centuries ago. As she thought about it more, there was something so final in his voice, almost depressing. A worry grew in her mind, and she chased after him. This was once again a very beautiful chapter, and I must say, I was already anticipating something like this with Celestia and Discord, but seriously, I really hate to say, but there were a few links in this. When Sweetie Belle began to sing, to each song there was a link, so you could listen to it on YouTube. I would have liked to hear them, but two of them were not available for me on YouTube, since apparently the GEMA does not allow these songs to be played via YouTube in Germany. And the third song, which he played for Tootsie Flute and Dusk, was not available at all. So I can't say if the music was fitting or not, but I can say that, Discord really did behave pretty well. Don't you think so? I really think he did a good job behaving himself. If you agree with me, leave a comment. Okay? See you later. Sincerely yours, Visual Pony.